Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to the first match of the day between Men of the Tide and EloWolves. My name is M-Target, joined here by the clickety-clacking of Ranconius.
Oh,
How are
is
you
that
doing
coming
this
through? Damn.
evening? It just barely, it's not as bad as it used to be, so.
Okay. I did change microphones, so this is kind of like the first cast I've actually done on GameVox since changing microphones. So I'm kind of just fiddling with the audio and whatnot, just getting it ironed out. So if there's a problem, let me know. Slash W me in the Twitch chat, and I'll make sure it gets fixed for next one. Even if M-Target doesn't, but I believe we have a good select to cast.
We do, so since the mechanical keyboard will let you know really quickly, you're never going to escape it. That said, you also will be able to escape today, Sun Wukong and Khepri being banned out by Men of the Tide fairly quickly, and EloWolves banning out the Giannis and Serket. However, that does leave several gods on the table. First pick from Men of the Tide fairly quickly was Bellona. Now EloWolves taking their time with their first sets of picks. So, a lot of options, and we are going to see a Sylvanus locked in for that first pick. Also a Thor. So, jungler, fairly standard, especially early game pressure. But then, Sylvanus also, very, not necessarily a standard, but a very solid and consistent support, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, solid and consistent. He can do well from behind, but the problem with him from behind is that he's also incredibly squishy and incredibly mobile compared to other supports in that similar vein, which is why everyone has been running with the Athena lately. It's also why sort of Ares, Ymir, that sort of stuff has fallen a little bit out of flavor at the moment, just because of the snowball capacity that is certainly in the game on this patch. What I do like about the Bellona pickup, and now that the Athena has been locked in as well, is that these are two very ambiguous picks. Where if you have a look at the side of EloWolves, you pick a Sylvanus, you pick a Thor. Unless you are having absolute shenanigans with us, we know exactly where those picks are going. So it's kind of slightly readable, but it's not like, hey, we're going to play this specific comp with these specific gods.
On the one hand, Ataraxia is not on this team. Also, Ataraxia doesn't play solo anymore, so there's that. So we're not going to see a solo line Sylvanus, maybe. But on the other hand, EloWolves does have Shadow Venom on there, and he is, though he's playing support here, he is a guy who is known for entering 1v1 Joust tournaments as Guardians and winning. So, and not just like, oh yeah, he played Bacchus and won. No, he played Sylvanus and won. He played Geb and won. And not just by turtling out either, by actually going out and getting kills. So, there are some players on these teams that do have shenanigans capacities. I'll put it that way.
Okay. So what you're saying is, don't count anything out yet. Nothing is locked in as we do come through. See the Neith. We're heading into that second round of ban phases, and neither one of these drafts is actually fully committed into anything. That could be a mid lane Neith.
Yeah.
Sure, Thor and Sylvanus are a little bit more.
Yeah, those are definitely closer to locked in. And what did I miss? Okay,
but the pressure that they can provide, it's not like, oh look, we're going to be focusing to we're going to be focusing mid lane. I mean, of course, you're obviously going to be clearing in the mid lane, but it's not specifically where 100% you're going to be looking for those kills. It's not committing to anything, and that's what I like about both sets of drafts here. There's no, and I mean, I've already said it already, but it's kind of where drafting's at the moment. What stage are you going to commit to those fights? Weekend, in one of his recent videos, very popularized in saying there's a couple of different parts to the game, and the game's kind of over from there on out. There's the 10-minute fight, there's the 15-minute fight. That's why we're seeing a bit of a return to focus on the Hunbats on this patch. Thor as well, very strong in those periods. Bellona, exceptionally strong in those periods as well.
Yeah, definitely. And we are going to see Chronos, speaking of time. So, thank you to Niku for picking that one up for that nice little segue. But no, Chronos, interesting character, plays like a mage early game, plays like a hunter late game, and this does give some credence to that Neith mid, or this could be a Chronos mid or a Chronos solo. We have seen him played in all three of those positions, though mid not the strongest, just because he can get focused a little bit more there, and his escape, most people don't level it up as much as it would necessarily be needed in the mid lane, because you don't see people leveling that ultimate, which does give it a faster cooldown. But a lot of people are like, no, I'll just wait. I'll level it up later. But then that means that it's still sitting on a 2-minute cooldown for 90% of the game.
I'm just trying to think of the Australian player. I'm pretty sure it's iDivine from Sif Gaming that actually really favors Chronos in the mid. It's his pick,
Take your
right?
word
It's
on
his
it.
pocket pick. So I mean, it's not the question, but these are sort of the two flexible picks of the draft. The other two are locked in. So it's an interesting spot that we now find ourselves in. Hercules, again, sort of very unambiguous. It's not like, alright, we're going to commit to this. But again, I really like the setup coming through here. Xbalanque, if he gets that Transcendence online, you can look for a really strong fight. Or if you get a Bluestone Pendant, you're phenomenal in those early portions of the game. Agni, as soon as he gets to sort of the level 9 point, starts to stack those bombs just a little bit quicker. Phenomenal at those stages of the game. That's where their composition from the Men of the Tide is sort of focused at this point in time. And with the Osiris lock-in, this means we're either going to have a mid lane or a duo lane Chronos. I mean, I'm calling mid lane, but shenanigans.
I certainly am inclined to agree here, if for no other reason than Osiris. Excuse me. In this composition, Osiris belongs in solo lane. End of story. He can be played in the jungle. I don't recommend it, but he can be. Niku is the ADC, meaning that this is going to be a mid Chronos. Yes, this is a mid Chronos. Assuming that they don't do any lane swapping or anything like that. The way that they've checked in is the Chronos player is checked in as mid, the Thor player checked in as jungle, etc., etc. So we will be seeing a solo lane Osiris. So again, as we talked about before, there is a little bit of flex here, and I like it. I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how mid Chronos works out here. Again, you don't pick it if you don't feel confident on it. It's one of those. He's one of those characters who you're not going to bring him to the table unless you think that you can do something with him. Now, you might be wrong. You may be overestimating your Chronos abilities, but at the same time, he's up against an Agni who has some significant lane clear pressure, but at the same time is a very standard pick. So you've probably practiced this somewhere. However, over on Men of the Tide, they may not have practiced. What do you do with a mid lane Chronos?
Yeah, and it's the other thing as well coming through, in favor of the guys that are actually on Fall of the Tide, Men of the Tide, is when was the last time they played against the Chronos mid? They don't know the specific spikes. They have a generalized one, but it doesn't influence the mid camps. Maybe they're looking for a specific mid camp focus spike, and that's something that we could be seeing. Hey, is it gonna be boom, clear those mid camps, or are they looking to just get piggyback off the back of Thor and get a lot more through that vein? Is that something they're looking to focus on? Well, we'll find out on the other side of this one, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your hats. We're going to a break.
And a little bit awkward of a transition in terms of music that loud to the game, but we're in at least. Welcome to the action now. Men of the Tide up against the EloWolves. Men of the Tide in the blue trunks, bottom side of your mid-map, left-hand side of your spectator UI. Going to be rocking Otterish and WarDiaK. We're trying to pronounce that, running in the dual lane. Xbalanque and Athena. Princey, as we talked about before, mid lane on Agni. FeelsHoekMan, not quite sure how to pronounce that. And then VoxTempus over in the solo lane on Hercules. Apologies on the names. Have not actually spectated some of these players before, so New names, new experiences for myself.
Welcome to the Challenge Cup Open Bracket Tournaments. They bring out the potential best in any sort of format like this. Alright, the EloWolves are going to be your Chaos side, bringing to us the duo lane. It's going to be Niku and Shadow Venom on Neith and Sylvanus, respectively, in the mid lane. Melssy for the win on the Chronos. iDestinyZ is going to be on your Thor in the jungle. And finally, FirePowerITA is going to be your solo lane Osiris. I couldn't resist, man. I saw the opportunity.
It's fine. You already went weird with your silly Z over there. Oh wait, I guess I'm the American, so we're the weird ones on that one.
Yeah, you're the weird one.
Oh,
you're the weird one.
Fine, I say Z most of the time.
I love
anyway,
you.
so that's fine. Anyways, we are going to see again fairly standard starts, sort of as close to on meta as you can have in terms of buff camp starts. There are 2 to 3 variations, but this is the closest to the standard, as I guess you could call it. So, we will, just kind of not see too much shenanigans from their starts. Not the hyper tanky build that we used to see. I find it interesting in the solo lane. Sorry, she started there. Both of them started with a starter item, and then went into boots. They didn't do a Mystical Mail Rush, though I think that everybody at this point has decided that Mystical Mail is a little bit expensive to try and get for your very, very first item these days, even though it is still incredibly good. And, I mean, right now we're seeing VoxTempus really poking out FirePowerITA, though once Firepower does hit level 5, Osiris does start to have some opportunities to shut down Hercules.
I think the reason that we're not actually seeing a lot of the Mystical Mail starts these days, the tier 2s, the Steel Mail or something, Steel Mail, it's Steel Mail.
Yeah, Steel Mail.
Is purely because of Bluestone. I think Bluestone's just eating it out of the meta at this point in time. It's just like, oh yeah, we could run this Bluestone build, and I could still take a lot of damage.
Yeah, no, this really does make some sense, and I certainly do agree. VoxTempus is going to hit level 5 first, though the stun is not going to hit, so that's not going to be too big of an issue. Mid lane, though, we are going to see some push, but it is really just turning into poke. Though, Chronos is showing one of his weaknesses. Pre-level 5 has a very hard time clearing, so because of that, you know, he does get pushed in deep, and because of that getting pushed in deep, we are going to see a first rotation of the game, as Feels does rotate over, but then immediately decides, no, they backed up too far, I don't want to commit. And this is, you know, certainly fair.
This actually totally makes sense. When you look at this Chronos in the mid lane, the ban on Circat makes 100% sense. Why does it make sense? Are those bans back to front? I feel like they might be back to front, blinking at the Thor on the left-hand side of things. Eagles rally, there's a dump down on towards Niku. Backflip out of the way, but an Athena ultimate means that Shadow Venom is going to fall and be our first blood. Indeed
it does, and over in the mid lane we did see iDestinyZ and FirePowerITA start to rotate over, but then they're like, no, he's dead, just let him go. And it's very fair, you know, they would have spent so much time rotating over that they would have ended up giving up both mid camps and possibly a full wave as well for probably not even a kill, because Men of the Tide were, okay, we're done, let's get out. So, why does, go ahead and why do you think, Elo, actually, I don't remember which team banned out. One second, let me pull that up.
Yeah, it feels like it was a bit back to front. You just checking things in the background? Because I feel like
EloWolves did ban out Circat, so that is an option.
Okay. Alright, so the Circat ban makes total sense, because they couldn't run it if they wanted to pick up the Chronos in the mid lane. They needed something with a little bit more pressure, a little bit more clear early on. Circat does not offer that, and they didn't want to give it away at the same time. It allows them to safely pick something like a Thor with a lot more clear.
Alright, yeah, no, that I definitely do agree with, and I really do like it. And again, you know, I've talked to people about, you know, what gods even counter Circat. Thor, not so much, but again, that concept of early pressure does give her a bit of a hard time. And the fact that, you know, iDestinyZ probably, my guess is that in scrims, he's been spending a lot of time hanging out with Melssy in the mid lane anyways. And so, because of that, you start working together in, okay, what can we do here to make mid lane more, not profitable, but make it work out better for us. And that's where you do things like, okay, well, if we can really protect our mid laner and get him a lot of farm, and he's gone to almost every single camp that iDestinyZ has done since the first time where he did red buff. They've either done together or Melssy's done on his own. So that means, you know, to me, what I'm seeing is they're really focusing on trying to get farm to him and keeping him safe.
Yeah, taking a look around the map at this point in time, looking for that gold differential. First blood, obviously rather crucial to that, but there's a little bit of a lead being built up, and I think, again, it's just going to be coming straight back down to that mid lane. Mid camps have been transferred 1-for-1 at this point in time. There's not really a huge deal to talk about at this stage of the game. Yep. I think potentially even the solo lane, look at Hercules' mana a little bit low, but he's the one that... Well, actually, no, they've both gone base about the... I was about to say he might not have gone base as much, or as early.
He does not own teleport yet, which means that he can buy that now.
Yeah.
Or rather, it doesn't matter if he doesn't own it, it's the fact that it's off cooldown, effectively. So if he wanted to, he could have bought it and backed and come back up, but he actually... he did spend his gold. I'm not sure if he spent that on the Iron Mail, or maybe a ward. I missed what exactly he had when he went back. I think he bought that Iron Mail, but again, he was able to walk there quickly enough that he didn't miss anything, so that's good for him. We do see Bellona and Chronos poking each other out, or not poking, but necessarily feeling each other out there, seeing each other. And again, once again, Feels is just going to walk back around and through. I think that they know that there's a ward in this general area, they just can't quite seem to figure out where. And then, of course, they don't want to drop basic wards in case it's a sentry. So they are just standing out here. Though it looks like Athena might want to try and get a little aggressive here, which is risky. Because, again, she's very deep in, and it does get pinged out by the red team. So EloWolves, knowing that Athena has some warding shenanigans going on deep inside their jungle.
Yeah, so it's basically just saying, right, they've got the Neith, they've got a potential for a lot harder, a lot earlier damage, and Sylvanus kind of combos with that, looking for the engage in the mid lane. The Eagles rallies on point, down comes the ultimate from Xbalanque as well, trying to secure that one up. And we'll see, is just going to back up around that corner, and that'll secure at least one set of the mid camp. So looking to take both sets at once. Really nice rotations coming through from Men of the Tide, right on point on their timings.
Yeah, definitely very, very solid. And Bellona getting solo on the right-hand side. Not only does it allow her to get a full camp on her own, it means that they didn't have to worry about splitting a camp 3 ways, which is a bit awkward. Double split is pretty good. Oh, we're going to see some aggression onto Shadow Venom, but he is just out of range of that taunt, so he will be alright for now. But as I was saying, 3 is a little bit much, but at the same time, you want to make sure that you secure it, so it's better than nothing. But when you can take it for free, just a single person is wonderful. However, we do see 3 members. They are just clearing out that ward, so they're going to have to go back and pick up another one for the Men of the Tide. But as I just said, 3-man buff clear on that purple one. Again, it's better than nothing. Though WarDiaK, is looking for something. It's going to go in, and Niku, is just going to backflip right on over that and not care at all.
Yeah, he's Neith. He's just doing the standard Neith things. What does this comp start to offer from the EloWolves as we start to get in towards this 8-9 minute mark? We're going to be looking for first fights, potentially first gold free, a lot later than what we were originally seeing at earlier in the season. And at this point in time, there's a lot more levels as well on the line. So, more Agni bombs are going to be in that fight. Chronos is going to have that ultimate ready. He's going to be doing a lot more auto-attack damage as well as just that little bit of burst as well. So they've got a lot more options open to them depending upon the itemization spikes coming through from Chronos for what damage they want to go for. Still early game. Definitely. Still going to want to look for that one stop time combo, obviously. Time rift, stop time combo. That's going to be your main damage source probably at this point. But he's still got more options there, and I think that's going to be cool.
Yeah, definitely it's going to be cool. And again, I think that for both teams, actually, they want to wait just a little bit longer to fight. Though right now, I think Men of the Tide have the better engagement. Even though Thor is around on EloWolves, you see a Transcendent attack. Oh, that isn't...
It was actually a grab in the mid lane into a bludgeon. Wow, that was pretty much blind. No, yeah, that was blind coming through from Shadow Venom. He got the...
See where he does come down, lands on top of Princey right there, and he's going to get stunned. There's the combo into the wall as well. There's the Wrath of Terror, and Melssy is going to finish off with the second tick of that stop time, and that is going to be the first kill for EloWolves, and that is going to be the mid laner for Men of the Tide, down a little bit early for mid camps, but he will still be down for 20-odd seconds, which is very, very solid here, especially if they are going to go for anything shenanigans here. War in a bit of trouble will be able to make it out, but this is a 2 versus 3, though Neith is in the area, and FeelsHoek is in some trouble. And VoxTempus is going to kill Thor over in the solo lane. Neith ultimate going to hit VoxTempus as well, watching, and that heal actually ticked up very significantly, and actually because... no, the heal started, which means that the damage absorption has stopped, meaning he's not going to heal up anymore. So Firepower could try to go for a kill, but he's out of mana, so he's just going to back here. Sorry, I had to do math in my head really quickly.
Math thought processes. No, not that during casting. We'll end up on math again. Remember what Zidane says about math during casting. Don't do it, children. Don't do it. That's the important take-home message. Right. Game state at this period of time. Looking around the map, what I'm actually seeing a lot of coming through from the side of EloWolves is they're actually using Melssy stop time as a really, really nice, simple way to set up Nature's Grasp coming through from Sylvanus. It's working phenomenally, actually,
very
that
good
combo.
Well, and the best part is that if you do, they're both line-based abilities, and you can actually, if you're standing right behind each other, if Chronos is standing behind Sylvanus and Chronos is able to hit the stun, then that means that Sylvanus can hit the pull. If Chronos can hit the stun and he's standing in front of Sylvanus, there's a bit more range, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's very easy that way, but also it's a long enough stun that it will do the trick. So very, very solid.
It even makes a really easy setup for the Thor wall, for obviously the Neith stuff. They've got a lot of lines, sort of, that's what they want to be fighting in. They want to be like, alright, we can pick off this sort of small jungle entrance, this really small choke, and it's not like it's a big outpush ultimate. You're not getting an empty the crypt sort of AoE damage, even before it had the slow brought off it, you're not sort of that level of zoning, so you're not going to be able to control a Gold Fury pit as well. You're looking for those nice small chokes, and that's probably the best sort of comp that you're looking for in the early game. I think Chronos is going to be absolutely crucial to this composition later on, because he's looking across the team. He's the only one that really sort of has any scaling later on. Yeah, everyone else is going to be relevant, but nowhere near so as something like a Xbalanque.
Kind of. I mean, Osiris, again, though, I mean, he's probably going to be building into a tankier bruiser frontliner.
Yeah.
So, you know, although again, I believe that Osiris is a character who only needs 1 or 2 damage items to really be able to start swinging on a late game fight, especially if for some reason he does opt to go to chin size. However, against Wrath of Terror up and Feels is going to be in some trouble, but he's going to do a perfect Feels rally there, is going to not get stunned out. We're going to see ultimates coming out across the board, and we will see Chronos rewinding right there. Athena ult did come down, but oh, they're all going in hard onto Princey. Good pull. Actually, Nature's Grasp is going to pull him back out, and Princey might survive because the VoxTempus turning it around, going to get one. Feels is going to get another, and that is a massive turnaround. I'm pretty sure Princey should have died there, but
he
getting
might
pulled
still
out of that
do so.
damage.
He needs to stop chasing it. He needs to stop chasing.
Destiny, what are you doing? Destiny.
Okay. All good. All right. Never mind.
VoxTempus is a little bit of trouble now mid lane. Sorry, really quickly. 2 versus 1. But Bellona is here to at least provide a disarm for that disengage. So, sorry. I think they're done fighting now.
I can talk now. They're done.
Ask the players.
I really would have preferred to have seen. Destiny would have been able to hear that Path of Flames coming forward, looking for the kill. At least, you know, in that sort of situation where he was there, he's not getting out. He knows it. Yeah. Turn around, try and get that kill on the exit kill. If you are 100% going to die, there is no way that you're going to get out. Look for the exit kill.
Yeah.
There's no point not doing it, right? It's gold in your pocket, potentially giving an assist off to somebody else if that tick up is still sitting there. But just dying as senselessly as that, it's just total waste of time.
And even before that, in that engagement, again, little things. I do know that EloWolves is a fairly newer team, and I also know that Shadow Venom is subbing in this week. But oh, actually, we're going to see Roma and Victa being called out with that Eagles rally and firepower. Actually, perfectly timed right there. Both the stun onto them as well as utilizing CC immunity for himself, and he is oh so low. Somebody will get him, I'm sure, and there we go. Feels is going to get it, but Thor is in the area. He's going to get the wall, but Feels is out of there, and War now in trouble as Melssy does show up. Princey is going to miss the stun, and there's the Neith ultimate as well on the VoxTempus, and Melssy looking for something. Can't quite seem to find it, and this may have been too much. There's the Aegis, and that was a photo finish as he does fall. Thor back in, missing the stun wall, and now he may die as well. This is over-aggression from EloWolves as he falls, and Shadow Venom, realizing that he's too late, decides that he shouldn't come in and die as well.
Is he? He's thinking about
it. What are you doing, Shadow Venom?
Caster's Curse.
Caster's Curse.
Oh, the Nature's Grasp. Damn, yeah. I was actually looking really hyped for that pull, but he's not quite able to.
But anyways, really quickly, back to the not that fight, but the last team fight that we had. Very, very tiny thing. Again, newer team, and I know that Shadow Venom is subbing in for them. There was that Nature's Grasp that he used while Agni was in the Berserker's Barrage of Thor, and he missed well over half of that Berserker's Barrage because he got pulled out of it. If that pull hadn't been there, he may have died because Princey was so low. So again, communication is key, probably more so than anything else. Yes, the mechanical ability is amazing on both of these teams, but because of communication issues, you're seeing things like we're going in that last fight, EloWolves went in 1 at a time for 3 kills. 4 men at a time.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't, it's not like they went in and got a kill, went in and got a kill. It was, they all went in and they each died. Or in a team fight, not trusting in your teammates' damage. Again,
actually going to be some
new team things, etc.
Yeah, just new team, and this is pretty standard for new teams as well. I've worked across multiple sort of different competitions across multiple games, and it is this sort of stuff. The mechanical for new teams that are coming together that bring all these mechanical players. These are just standard errors that you're generally going to see from them.
Yeah.
Mechanically, yes, the players can beat these guys. You put them in a solo queue scenario on solo queue sort of style champions. Actually, very reminiscent this comp of sort of something that you would see in a solo queue as well. Each champion, each god able to win individually, you know, and put some influence around the map individually as well. But it's just like, well, it needs a bit of synergy to sort of come together. If one of us gets ahead, sure, we might be able to carry, but it needs a little bit of synergy.
And Melssy is going to fall just before he can get into that rewind, so at least it will be up for next time. Feels is going to use his beads there. Actually may not have needed to, because he wasn't able to get that kill just because of the nature of Thor's wall. And we are going to see a teleport, and yep, there we go. It's going to be channeling right now, and WarDiaK is waiting and does taunt Firepower right in. Firepower getting blown up very, very quickly. At least he has all that mitigation to help himself out a little bit. But he is now going to stick around and keep fighting, and now he's in trouble. He's going to be forced to use that Lord of the Afterlife, and he's going to have to disengage. And again, all of these mistakes that we've been harping on for EloWolves, very minor mistakes, but they're also things that they can change. They're very easily fixable things. Speaking of fixable things, Otterish being able to run away, keeping himself out of that Destiny ulting in, and they are really hard going for this kill. We are going to see the ultimate coming out there from Xbalanque, the Darkest of Nights, is going to make them all stop dead in their tracks, and he will escape. So that was actually two ultimates, or an ultimate and a blink burned for nothing, though they did force out Otterish's ultimate as well. But that is now all 3 Tier 1 towers down on the side of EloWolves. Men of the Tide taking all 3 of them in less than a minute. So very, and not off of anything either, just solid pressure, forcing rotations, and then going, okay, nobody's here, thank you. Okay, nobody's here, thank you. And one more time for that last camp, or that last line.
Well, having a look at the left-hand side of things, just on the mid is going to be the engagement towards Shadow Venom at this point in time. They were looking to catch out iDestinyZ, didn't quite get onto him, poked him out just enough, though. That's the crucial factor, forcing the disengage once again. WarDiaK doing an incredible job getting around this map and keeping the pressure up for his team, doing exactly what they need. Look at this Bellona now, having a look at Niku's face, trying to get onto towards her. Just going to be a clear out, pressuring in and around this Gold Fury. It seems that both teams have picked this one to be their fight.
Yeah, I say 18 minutes in, incredibly late for a first Gold Fury, but at the same time, the way that this game has been playing, I definitely can understand them wanting to now go for gold. Of course, Gold Fury does scale with time, so that means that it's still going to be worth more than a minute 10 Gold Fury, though it won't be worth as much as, say, a third respawn minute 20 Gold Fury. And we are
slam
going to see
down
ultimates
to
going
Thor
down
in
on
the
the
mid
Princey.
lane. Absolutely, getting absolutely dumped on. Destiny's is in trouble though in response. Princey will fall to the dart. Damage comes through from Shadow Venom. Now they're looking at WarDiaK as well. They do get the Nature's Grasp on towards him, trying to body block him in. Not able to do so on the backside. Trying to chase down on towards that Osiris, doing a lot of damage as the Bellona. Down comes the Darkest of Nights as well. Chronos is going to get his ultimate out of there. Everyone's still looking to run away. Firepower with a sliver of help, but it's going to be FeelsHoekMan that's forced to disengage.
Indeed, VoxTempus looking to try and chase, though he is sitting kind of low on health right now. Firepower did manage to get out of there, and everybody is fairly low. Definitely a whole lot less health on Men of the Tide, though that is because you've got 2 members at 25% health, 1 member at 0, so that certainly hurts, and everybody on EloWolves did survive that engagement, so it's a 1-for-0. And I think they want to maybe try to do something here. No, they decide they can't, as Otterish is here. Though, quite frankly, I think they could probably try to kill him. Yes, he does have 2
Look at the
levels on
level
Niku.
difference.
But, yes, I was getting ready to say, it's a level 17 versus a level 15 and a level 13, but at the same time, a level 13 Sylvanus is nothing to laugh at when he's paired with, somebody else who can dish damage out next to him. So, but again, that's, he's been able to sit in lane and farm. He's got 2 kills, he's gotten 2 assists as well, and he's sitting a solid 1,200 to 1,300 gold ahead of Neith, and that's not good for a character like Neith that spikes significantly before Xbalanque does. Sure, she does well late game, and she doesn't fall off that hard, but her spike is right around now, but it doesn't count as a spike if you're behind. It just counts as a balance.
Yeah, and I mean,
best.
right before that fight came through, you're actually seeing the difference in the goal between both of our Hunter players here in the balance play. The tier 2 looking for that executioner coming through on the side of Otterish compared to absolutely nothing. But never mind, it's going to be engaged on towards Melzy. They're trying to get on towards him and stop me even talking about what's going on the map. Look at VoxTempus all over him, driving strike into the wall. You're dead, son. Get out.
Men of Tide going to take the Gold Fury, and now the fight occurs after it. Normally you see the Gold Fury before the fight, or after the fight, excuse me. Shadow Venom is going to get ulted onto there. VoxTempus is going to finish him off, and now they are looking for more. They have not lost anything, even though Neith almost did manage to steal by that Gold Fury. Wasn't quite enough, and now Feels and Princey going in for FirePowerITA, going very, very deep for this one, while the rest of the team goes around the front side. Good wall from Thor, going to completely block them off, and he will make it out. But this will be the first Tier 2 tower of the game that they will take for free, and they're feeling pretty good about themselves. Level 14, Athena sitting on a Mail of Renewal first item. Not sure if I necessarily would agree with that normally, but she's 109, so it obviously has results. And especially when her opponent is only a, yeah, I mean, he's behind.
He's massively behind. Like, it's not just a regular behind. She's also sacrificed going down that. She obviously started early on excuse me, going down that blink path, and then hasn't upgraded it. So that's 600 gold difference in that itemization. 109 hasn't died yet as well. Mail of Renewal, I actually really like it on the Athena. Just the cooldown.
No, I do like it on Athena. I just don't like it first normally. Again, normally because she's ahead. I don't dislike it as much. But or even the penetration for that matter. Shoes of Focus, just because of that extra mana now, so good on Guardians. And this Pestilence, she has gone pure Assault Athena. This is not, and I'm not saying like Assault like the game mode. I'm saying Assault like she wants to become full God of War here. Which, to be fair, that's one of her
Oh my
monikers.
god, she's going Winged Blade as well. There's no sovereignty. There's no Heartward at all.
That would normally be my concern, and if this goes into late game, that could kill Men of the Tide, because they don't have the Sov, they don't have the Heartward, and if they allow Shadow Venom to just get those 2 items online, especially if they let him get a Lotus Crown online, then Sylvanus will be doing more in these team fights. Right now, Men of the Tide don't have a support, they have 2 junglers. She's building like a jungle Athena. Destiny being forced to use his beads, though, and he will make it out of there, and you know, again, that's a bit of a disengage. We're going to see some scrappy poking, but it's more of a wave clear. I almost said lave clear, and I'm not quite sure what a lave is.
It's a wood shaper. It's a wood shaper.
It's a lave,
instrument.
not a lava. It's a Victor
Whoa.
versus TH.
Well, looking at the engage now, it's over on towards Mel's. He's in trouble. He's gone. Once again, Mail of Renewal now going to pop and start doing its work for Athena. Look at Destiny's on the backline. Going out of this one. Princey's in a little bit of trouble, but again, just able to dash through, continue the sustained amount of damage. Shadow Venom just can't get away from Bellona, and that's the real problem, is that she's just beating all over them. Look at it. Another bludgeon, not quite able to do it. Down comes the ultimate from Athena to ensure that disengage. Niku's
Would have died.
Backside.
Double kill.
Princey going to finish off Niku there, and that is going to be a 4 for none over on the right-hand side, and that was also a 4 versus 4 as Firepowered and VoxTempus are hanging out over in the solo lane right now. But really quickly, Feels had so little health there that that mitigation, even on that one last basic attack, probably would have gotten him killed if not for it. So it's got nothing to do with brain work. Thank you. Sorry, early in the morning here. But it did very much, you know, Athena's ultimate did save his life right there. And even though, you know, oh, it wasn't a global ultimate or whatever, he actually used it for the mitigation, which is something that we often forget actually happens on Athena's ultimate.
It's like, it's burst damage, you know, and it's getting across the map to taunt somebody off of their tower so you can finish them off safely.
And it also provides tons of mitigations to save the person's life, and wow, this makes Guardian sound overpowered.
God damn
That's my one meta remark for the day.
Well, I mean, it totally makes sense. Like, if you're level in the game, it's sensical. She's in a decent spot. VoxTempus actually going to eat a couple of stuns towards the face. Terror on 2, nice, but they can't kill them. That's the major problem here. Look at another pluck back, really trying to look for things, and finally finishing off Firepower. Might have been a hype-up entry to the game, but it's not going to be a hype-up exit, and Shadow Venom is going to be the one walking down as well. Melssy finally going to grab that 3rd kill of the game, ult his way back, but is it an ultimate that brings him closer towards death? Well taunted in. Surely it's going to be. The Aegis ticks out, and FeelsHoekMan is just going to fall over and die.
Indeed.
Oh, sorry, FeelsHoekMan picks up the kill. God, what am I looking at today?
I don't know. I mean, you're in Australia. Just flip your monitor right side up and you'll be fine. But no, again, it's one of those things where you're seeing. Actually, we're going to see Otterish soloing the Fire Giant here right now. A little bit risky, but hey, he's late game Xbalanque. He's got Soul Eater. Get him on a little bit. Well, they're actually okay. All right, fine, team. I get it. You don't want us to talk. You guys are going in way deep right now, and they're going to work on this Phoenix. Though Thor is up. Feels is low, but very deep. Destiny's out of mana. Destiny, you cannot do anything. I understand. I like the attempt, but nothing's going to happen. And now they're going to see Fire Giant Belt pop up on VoxTempus, and they're going to go, oh, that's a new fashion accessory. Now we're in trouble. So VoxTempus is getting beaten down on by 2.
Bring it on.
EloWolves, I think a large portion of their problem is firepower. Again, just going to get taunted up and just trying to force him away from the fight. Turn to the base just behind him. But I think, as well, what started that last fight, EloWolves, they did start a somewhat decent fight, but then they just kind of continued rolling, beating on the tanks. And the tanks are like, Bellona's just like, okay. Hercules is just like, yep, sure, keep beating on me. I press 3. What's this damage you... Oh, it's all... Oh, I've healed it all back. Oh. Bad bad thing for you guys. But that was the problem. They never actually. Melssy was the only one that switched targets. The rest of them were just still baiting on the tanks. And at that stage, when you're that far behind, you're behind on the damage, you're behind on the resistances and the nickiness stats to continue to just sort of be able to beat on those guys with no repercussions for you and your team. And it's just.
I mean, look at DestinyZ getting taken down so hard right there off of just an Agni bomb. Maybe a tick or two of the noxious fumes and flame wave, not path of flames. Tide going to discard this gold fury as well. Going to be 2 gold furies their way now. We're 27 minutes in, 19-3. Gonna take a brief look at the charts. 16,000 gold. That experience difference not really mattering at this point. Considering how many members of minutes. I mean, it matters in terms of if you look at how far down EloWolves are, but so many members of Niku getting taken out almost half of his health with that ultimate from VoxTempus. But as I was saying though, everybody except for Athena has been generating extra experience that doesn't count because they are over level 20 or at level 20. You're going to see ultimate coming out from Chronos, and it's actually going to save him here. But they are going in hard on Shadow Venom, and he's just not going to live. Otterish going to finish him off with Poison Dart Tick. Otterish going in really, really deep. Destiny is going to be able to make it back into his well. And Men of the Tide going to take the first Phoenix. And I've noticed in Europe, teams love going for the mid-Phoenix. Actually, no, I was going to say they like going for the mid-Phoenix first, but apparently they took out the dual lane Phoenix first. I just missed it. I wasn't prepping for casting this morning. That's all that I'm going to say.
Yeah, you were just prepping for production, right? Damn it, Bub!
That's okay. He's probably trapped by a cat somewhere. Or he's just anyway. Either way, Princey is going to take out iDestinyZ here, and they are Men of the Tide. Thank you so much for focusing the Titan right off the bat and not trying to go for any extra kills. Biggest pet peeve is, yes, there's swag points, but A, you could throw the game in the middle of it, but B, it's also just not classy, you know. Depending on how hard you die for it, too, it could also be considered BM, which is against the rules. So, you know, that's something to remember. But, with that said, 28 minutes, 24-3, rough game.
Oh my god, chin size on Bellona. That's how far ahead. I mean,
Sheesh.
all well and good to her for building chin size. She was far enough ahead, but the problem was there was just you weren't getting any benefit from it.
Osiris and Sylvanus.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
I think she was going for Executioner back and was like, "Oh hey, I've got an extra 500 gold. Buy chin size. Why not?" I think that was the decision-making process. It was the last item that FeelsHoekMan bought in that game. It was like, yeah, click, sure, why not? And again, they were far enough ahead that it didn't necessarily matter. But I don't want to
look at Princey as well. Like,
yeah,
picking up a Divine Ruin.
He rushed that. That was early because he didn't want to deal with Sylvanus, and it was great. You know, it's got some decent magical power numbers, but that passive of healing reduction is huge. EloWolves do fall 2 Men of the Tide in the round of 32. Though, again, I really don't want to say that it was a skill mismatch. It was a communications mismatch.
Yeah, it wasn't so much directly, and in lanes we saw them go very even, if not... at stages, some of their lanes I think were slightly ahead, and again, down to these guys, really, really good performance from them. What do they go back and learn from here? They go back and learn from communication, warding strategies as a team, learning the power spikes, and potentially coming out with something a little bit one-minded, less one-minded, than the comp they did. It's kind of just like, look, we're just going to run at you, we're going to throw some line skill shots at you, and if that misses and we're behind, oh, well, that's the game. They just need... I mean, admittedly, I do like a Chronos mid. I don't like throwing a Chronos mid with something like a Neith. I'd prefer maybe... And I mean, support open, they rushed into the Thor and Sylvanus picks, and from there, yeah, they're strong picks, but you got to back them up with something. Neith has the potential. Did they follow through on the potential? Yeah, not really. Didn't really get her into as much fights as early on. There was just nothing for her to do over there. She wanted to be pressing, but Xbalanque was just clearing as well, going with the Bluestone start. Kind of like... This is the trouble for hunters at the moment. Bluestone start kind of gimps them too much.
I can see that.
Because especially if you want mana, you need to be getting into Transcendence.
Especially if you're going for Transcendence. If you go for Bluestone, you need to be considering something more along the lines of a standard. Either you're going Soul Eater first, or you're going for that mid-game spike build, or you should be
Which
going
I really like, personally.
Especially
I
on Neith, I like it too. I do agree. The power curves line up where you're peaking in terms of those items, those mid-game peak items, you know, Iqval, Soul Eater, maybe the Executioner by that point. You're peaking there, especially on a mid-game god like Neith. But again, that's really hyper meta specific and or rather hyper character specific as well, so it can be interesting. And again, at the end of the day, both of these teams did play incredibly well, but I do think it came down to minor mistimings and minor communication errors on the side of EloWolves. That said, we do need to go to a break screen, and we will be back with your round of 16 match when one is ready. There may be one ready to go right now. We're not 100% certain. We'll be back when we get there. We'll keep the BR back screen updated as well, so do stay tuned. This is, of course, EU week number 3 of the Open Qualifiers. If you want to get in and qualify to make it into the group stages, there still is time next week as well. But with that said, my name is mTarget, joined here by the wonderful Australian Ranconius. We'll be back when we have another game.